Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hands On with me, Christian Chiller, where every week I get hands on, try experimenting, try to make a practical use case of some kind of tool, generally developer focused, but not always. And this is one of those cases where it's something a little different. And it's going to get a little meta on this one. And it's going to get a little complicated in places, so bear with me. What am I going to be working with? I'm going to be looking at OBS.ninja, OBS.ninja, whatever it's called. So what is OBS.ninja? Well, let's go back a step. What is OBS? OBS is some open source software that a lot of people use for creating video, be that live streams, recorded, and you can mix up various input sources of audio and video and all sorts of things, and then stream it or record it. I'm actually using it right now. So this is where it's going to get meta, because I'm going to bring something into the software I'm currently using and try and show you. So we're going to have a few infinite screens. I do apologize, but it's kind of hard to do any other way. And what is OBS.ninja? Well, so one of the things that a lot of shows want to try to do is bring other people in. And getting people's video feed into a nice usable format for streaming with is actually a little bit challenging. And there is a protocol that a lot of people use called NDI. But there's a couple of problems with NDI. One, it's proprietary. And number two, the only real affordable mainstream piece of software that uses it is Skype. And this might be why you've seen a lot of kind of bigger streams using Skype. And a lot of people think, like, who uses Skype anymore? Well, actually, bizarrely, video professionals. But Skype is getting increasingly unreliable, and lots of people have been complaining about it as an option. And it is always a fear that the feature will just go at a certain point. And then if you want NDI without Skype, it's quite expensive. And then there are other sorts of options. So for example, when I do my podcast, I use Restream. I use Restream at the moment for streaming to multiple destinations, but it also has a studio mode where I can do something similar. I can get video feed in the browser. It's very easy for them too. And then we stream from there. But that kind of makes me lose a lot of the power of OBS. Open Broadcast Studio, by the way, is OBS. And please, if you have any input on this, I know this will be a popular subject. Probably expect a lot of viewers of this video later as well. Ask questions in the comments and I'll endeavor to help you too. So I'm going to look at OBS.ninja today as an option for bringing guests into my stream right now. Now, two things here. I need someone. I have a volunteer who will be joining us shortly. They are not necessarily a video streaming person, but this is intentional because I want to see how usable it is for people who don't spend hours doing streams like me every week. And of course, any kind of live demo, especially one where I don't have control over everything, we may have some issues. We may have some issues with sound and all sorts of things. I don't know. We're going to see what happens. If we can get the video, then that's a bonus. If I can hear them, even better. But let's get started. So I'm going to switch to my screen share and I'll hide OBS for now, but we will have to look at it soon. Okay, I'll pop it over there. So, okay, here is OBS.ninja. The website is OBS.ninja. Oops, I didn't necessarily want it that large. Okay, so simple website, kind of tells you exactly what you need to know. Someone is asking me about StreamYard. Yeah, StreamYard is somewhat similar to Restream and is now owned by Hopin as well. It's fine. Restream is also paid. I use Restream. It was worth paying for that simplicity. OBS.ninja you do not have to pay for, but we're about to see if that aspect of not paying for something is compensated elsewhere by being hard to use. Let's see. So this is where things are a little interesting. It's 100% free, no downloads, no personal data collection, but it does actually go through a kind of hosted service. So I'm not 100% sure what that will mean in the future. We'll see. It can be used on any browser source, basically. Peer-to-peer, I think it's WebRTC. A lot of video professionals are not so keen on WebRTC, but it's an option. And then there's a whole bunch of other things you can find. I also know I am on macOS. As you can see, there are some extra issues on macOS, but let's just go step by step and see how we go. So how do we start? Not really seeing like an obvious first step. So what do I do? Create a room, I guess. Okay. I do not like that. Oh, insecure. Okay. I don't know how to make it. No? Strange. Why don't you like my room name? Okay. Password is recommended. I'm obviously doing this live. What I might do then, just so I don't stand the chance of having lots of people bomb into the room, I will just go off screen share for a moment and set up that password and supply it to my guest, and we'll see what happens and we'll come back. So, all right, whilst I put in that password. I'm also going to select default codec. Guests can only see director's video. I'm not sure what that means. Director will also be a performer. Not quite sure what that means, but we'll leave that for now. So I realize I'm really going to have to share this. I guess I can just kick people off. Otherwise, half the point of the stream is kind of gone. But I'm going to share this link with my guest first, and then I'll come back in. Okay. So this is our dashboard. We have invited guest to join the group room, but they're just in the browser, I guess. And then we have actually getting a capture source here. Now I need to enable director's microphone. Or okay. Now I may have another problem here because if I start using different, I might use, don't know if I can use both cameras at once. This could be complex as well. This is where it gets complicated, I suppose, trying to do this at the same time. I will use my inbuilt camera here, and I will use my other. This is going to get confusing, I'm sure. So I do not see my guest yet. So I have sent them the link that I think I need to send them, but I'm not seeing them yet. What have I missed? Okay, so my guest is having problems. This is interesting. They are oops. A black screen. So the process is not seamless, it would appear. I wonder, just out of interest, let's see what I would see. This is where things might get very complicated. Well, you're seeing the password. I mean, this is okay. So I can see myself. So, okay. I think my guest is having the age-old browser permissions issue. So, or I haven't given them a link that allows video. I don't know. Okay. Oh, doesn't. Okay, doesn't ask for permissions. Interesting. So what did we get wrong? What did I get wrong? Probably more crucially. I think I remember now. I think this is where... Yes, actually, I think I remember. I think I remember one of the issues now that I found with OBS.ninja in the past. Maybe. Let's see. I think I'm just doing the wrong thing here. So, okay, let's... I think what I'm not understanding here is... Let's see. I'll try this link instead. I think this link is just for OBS, maybe. Let's see. Oh, yes. Aha. Here is Kate. Now, can I hear her? Are you talking, Kate? No, I cannot hear her, so hang on. I honestly don't know if it's because I have so much crazy stuff going on with my audio or if it's a problem at Kate's end. It's hard to say. I don't know. It's hard to say, I think, especially as I have a lot going on here. Maybe I need to change my... I think it might be me. Talk again, Kate? Aha, I can hear you. Right, good. We have you here. Excellent. Can you see me and hear me? Good. Yes, of course. Yes. Yep, I think I figured that out now. Let's just recap what happened there. And then then I will do something, because at the moment I don't think anyone on the stream can hear you. We're having a conversation one-sided. But trust me, everybody, I can hear Kate. So that is working from my end at the moment. But the complexity is that I haven't added her audio to my streaming software yet. So there's these two different links here. We have the invited guest, and then we have the group scene, which is for OBS. So I was sending her the wrong link. And now I can actually see down here, solo links. So I'm going to do that, and then I will try and figure out the audio. Now, I do remember, and Kate will just sit there patiently. What's the quality like, Kate? You're quite pixelated on my end, but what am I like on your end? Both, really. Okay, good. And you can change that, actually. I haven't changed anything beyond the default right now. That it would be the case. I am using a different camera and with lights and everything. So, okay. Right. That's good. So, now, I do know that this link in the past used to cause issues with OBS on a Mac. So I'm not 100% sure if that's still the issue or not. So I'm just going to have a look in the docs and see if that is still an issue or not before I go any further. The wiki is here. It's probably what we want. Okay. Doesn't show up. I think this is probably it. Though I think a recent version of OBS fixed this. OBS version 24 to 26 does not support OBS. Okay. So old versions or future versions. Okay, that's a shame. So we have to use this Electron Capture app, which is, yeah, this other one. Okay, let's do this. This is only if you're a Mac user. So if you're not a Mac user, I think it's different. And the OBS Discord is full of people talking about this. Or maybe it's also Windows. Okay. Okay, let's install this. So this is where the setup is a little complex, but it was relatively easy for the guest. I think not having a one-sided conversation, but I think Kate will say that was relatively easy. I can probably add her audio, actually. 1 second. I'll add her audio so you can actually hear her. Give me a second. So I need to do... Oh, actually, this is a whole other issue with macOS. I need to do a routing to black hole and all sorts of things. I may not do that right now. Just trust me when I say I can hear Kate. Her audio is working. Just routing it into OBS and then out to the stream it's not impossible, but it's probably not a good thing to do live. But trust me when I say I can hear her. Okay, so let's install this. Okay, downloads. Which screen? Whose screen? What screen? What screen do you mean? But my screen where? It's fine. I think it's coming. It's fine. I think it's coming through your end. Let's not have too much of a conversation right now because it's gonna be very one-sided. This is probably my boldest hands-on yet. Basically, I'm bringing in a guest that no one can hear. I think it's very disconcerting, probably for everybody else. Okay, so now this is the Electron Capture. So I guess I need to. Oh, hang on. OBS 26.12 now supports OBS Studio without needing the Electron app. Okay, maybe I don't need it. Let's just quit this before I get all sorts of microphone conflicts. Then, no, I guess I have that version. This is where things are going to get very, very meta because I have to open OBS and have a look. And so we're going to get all the fun of infinite screens. There we go. I have version. Okay, so I have the most up-to-date version. So I think. So this is where I have no real choice but to do this. So you're just going to have to put up with this for a minute. So I can take her link here, copy her solo link. This is very disconcerting, actually, because now I can't see what I'm normally looking at. And I can see myself at different angles. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Okay, so I know you can only see me. That's fine. Yep. very disconcerting for both of us. So I do recall that this is a browser source. So I think I'm not seeing a browser source. So maybe, oh no, there we go, browser. Okay, let's say guest. And so with this, you just put in a URL, and I put in the URL from OBS.ninja. And here is, and we'll dig into this in a second. I can change the width and the height and add custom CSS and all sorts of things. But there he is. There's Kate. And I wonder if I get sound as well. And then we can actually, let's see. I don't think we're going to get sound as well. So we have Kate on video. Kate will just have to believe this. So when I'm talking to her, it's a one-sided conversation that the audience can't hear, and she can't see that we can see her. But it is working. Yeah, there you go. So now you can see yourself. I know, and I'm actually getting a slight echo, but actually it's not too bad. It's actually not bad, I must admit, considering I've got you coming in 2 windows and I'm streaming. The lag is bearable. It's pretty good. So let's see if we can get your audio as well. So let's leave you there for a minute. It gets very surreal. So we don't need this Electron app anymore. That's good. That's really nice. So let's think, what else? And this is where this URL basically changes depending what you want. So this is just what, this bit thumbnail right down the bottom here is what Kate is seeing. She's seeing me from my internal camera here. And then we're seeing her on the stream. And you're also seeing her in the window. Actually, you're not, because her OBS view is currently blocking her, but I can move her. There we go. So there's Kate twice. In fact, Kate, try moving. Let's see what happens. It's actually hardly any lag between those at all. That's pretty good. So let's see now. This is going to get very trippy to watch. All right, let's have a look. So basically everything you changes this URL, and then you change the URL in OBS. So let's have a look at the video settings first. Well, that's her video settings. That's not me changing the video settings. So what can I... What can I change? Okay, maybe it's... Oh, so I customize from up. Now, where do I customize? Mute, record. So this recording local is also super useful. We'll come to that in a minute. The bit I am slightly unsure of is I know you can change like the codec and things, but do I have to... I think I have to start all over again to do that. But I'm sure there was a way to just add URL parameters. Let's have a look. I should introduce Kate as well. You can't hear her, but you can see her. Kate is a tech journalist and writer, much like myself. Anyone who has been following or watching my work for some time will know that she used to be a co-host on a podcast we did together as well. Yeah, and she volunteered to help me here. So yes, I volunteered. Here we go. Advanced URL parameters, how to use. Now Kate's face is currently in the way. Let's move her over. There we go. So you can change all these URLs. List of parameters, room ID, passwords, stereo. So does that mean, I guess we currently don't have audio? Let's see. We can check that link in OBS. This is where it gets very confusing because I'm sharing so many things with everybody right now. I don't see audio in that link. I actually just saw a checkbox here that says control audio. Maybe that's the easier way. But I don't know if we've actually added audio to the stream or not. Let's see. There we go. I think Kate, if you talk,
Yes.
we have Kate's audio now. I think I can talk to her. I hope. I'm seeing the meter. Well, you can also because I'm sharing my OBS, but if you now see, I have my microphone and her audio as well. So Kate, if you try talking.
Hello. Welcome, everybody.
And this is also super nice because I have very finessed, like if Kate was getting a bit loud all of a sudden. So keep talking, Kate.
I was getting a...
I can still hear her, but I just took her out the stream, which is great. I can also do things like using the features of OBS by adding audio filters. So if Kate's in a slightly noisy background, I could add noise suppression onto her audio. Obviously, everything here will start adding a lot onto CPU. And now if Kate talks again.
Yeah, it seems to be going okay, at my end at least.
Yeah, that's actually working pretty well. Your video quality is a lot lower than mine, but I know for a fact that you're on an internal camera, streaming over, etc., etc. I don't think it's necessarily, and we can improve the quality. I wouldn't mind. Let's see if we can do that on a live feed or not. So back where we were. So this is audio. So we could get stereo. I mean, Kate is using the internal microphone on a MacBook Pro, so there's not so much we can do. Noise cancellation, things like that. No audio processing. OBS off. I'm not quite sure what that is, but relay, language, no cursor, clean output, cleanish, clean directed stats, transparent. Interesting. Chroma, style, hide the label, show labels, mirror. So we could actually flip Kate's video. Let's have a look. That's completely useless, but let's do it.
Why? What's the purpose of it?
So actually there is a purpose. Let me just do it. Let me just test it first. Okay. Do we need to do equals true or something, or just set it? I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, so Kate is now upside down. That is less useful than what I thought it was, which is the mirror. Because sometimes on certain software, I have noticed on certain software, Hopin is one of them actually, where it mirrors your video because it assumes that's what everybody wants. But quite often, if you're using something like OBS to feed in to that video feed, you don't need the mirroring, and it mirrors you, so you're flipped. So you end up going into Hopin back, like you're in a mirror. So this enables you to do things with people's video if something similar happens. But at the moment, Kate says upside down, not mirrored. Let's let's change that. So let's try it. For example, mirror equals 1. There. Now Kate will be mirrored. It's hard to tell. Actually, no, you can see now everything's round the other way. And if I turn it back, it will go back. So if you look on the feed, the shelves should flip to the other side. Yes, they do. Good. Now, what I'm really interested in looking at is this video quality. Height, width, frame rate, quality. Here we go. So I know Kate's camera, because it's a MacBook Pro internal camera, can only do 720p. But let's try and force it as high quality as possible. So we're going to put quality equals 1 and see what happens. I don't know if it's going to change anything or not. This may be the best that we get. Let's see. It doesn't really look any different. I think predominantly because we were probably getting, it says that quality 1 is 720p at 60 frames per second, but the MacBook Pro doesn't do 60 frames per second. It looks like, actually it does look a little better. It's probably because we're also using a compression algorithm on the OBS.ninja as well. But as I said, any kind of software that does video streaming will have compression artifacts anyway. What else? Audio device, we have audio. Let's not go for that. We can mute, we can preview, no settings, enable a raise hand button. This won't really work in OBS, I don't think. And there's a whole bunch of other things we can do here that probably more relevant to using it in the browser than in OBS, because I don't think it really works. And then we can also get 2 different feeds of the screen share and the video. Let's not tempt fate by doing that right now. There's also an interesting thing here about a transcription feature, which seems very intriguing. We should try that. Oh, there is a codec. We can change the codec. Let's change the codec. So we're using H.264, I think, which is fine. Let's try and up the codec. I'm not sure if this is going to break for various reasons. Looking at these options here, if that's really going to help. Maybe we'll just leave it as it is. Audio bitrate, so we can change. Default maxes out at 2500. I might actually change Kate's bitrate. This is probably going to cause both of our fans to go. Let's see. So let's take the quality out and let's change VB to 4000 and see what happens. It's not really changing very much. In fact, that looks like it got worse. I have also noticed, I don't know if anyone else is noticing, obviously when you watch this, you're also watching the compressed streamed version as opposed to what I'm watching. It sometimes takes a little bit of time for the feed to improve. It starts pixelated and then starts to settle in. In fact, I'd say that's got worse. Maybe just leaving everything on default is better. And we can actually change the frame rate in OBS by the looks of it as well, interestingly. Okay, let's bring that back. There we go. So that actually works quite well. And why would we want to do this in OBS? I mean, as well as just getting the option to do all these sorts of feed things, we can actually do all sorts of other stuff in OBS that are not possible in other tools or not in free open source tools like OBS. For example, we can do things like we can edit, we can crop the video here. So let's crop the side so it's just Kate and not the not all the stuff are in the room. There we go. There's one example. I know you can do like the rounded corners here as well, but I don't know where that is. So that's Kate cropped. We can also do other filters like, if I want to be the producer and I think Kate's color is a bit off, I can add some color correction on my side. So actually, look at this. We can make Kate semi-transparent. Somewhat disturbing. We could also make her black and white by taking out all the saturation, and we can make it very red. We can increase the contrast, so we can actually improve Kate's feed here and things like that, which is also very useful. There's a whole bunch of things we can do with OBS there, there's a lot more, obviously, you can do. So let's just recap some of the things we did there. There's a little bit of time getting going, but then it kind of made sense in the end. Let's just go back and recap a couple of things, if you don't mind just staying there for a minute, Kate.
Mm-hmm.
So this is back in the OBS. Oops, I just moved the... Sorry. This is one of the problems I always have with OBS, accidentally moving the wrong thing. There we go. I wanted to move Kate's video, not my whole screen. There we go. So let's go back to the window here. There's also this group scene thing, which is interesting. I don't really know how that's going to look. Let's have a look. I'm guessing it will be both our videos, which is also interesting. Let's see. We can also see how well OBS starts to cope with multiple feeds coming in. Let's see. I won't turn your audio on here because we're getting a lot of echo if we do. That should be... No, that's still just Kate. I probably haven't added myself. That's probably why. I think I have to join the call myself as well. And this is the confusion that I had earlier, was there's actually multiple links. You have the the control center here, which is what we're looking at here. And then we have the actual video here. So I am not part of the thing at the moment. Kate can see me in the browser, but I'm not part of the feed. I don't exactly know how I make myself part of it. I don't know if I want to, but it would be nice to know how to do that for the future reference. But yeah. So what else can we do? We can add her to the scene, these scenes. I mean, she's already in it, I think. Guess I'm not sure. The scene thing is something I'm not 100% sure about. We can transfer. I'm not sure what that is. Transfer to another room. So we can actually have different rooms. So we could do the equivalent of Zoom breakout rooms, I guess. I won't tempt fate by trying something like that right now because that'll get very messy because I'll have to control multiple inputs and outputs myself. I can privately message her here. I don't know how that looks, but there we go. It looks like she got it. I'll just close that for now. The other interesting here, we can also mute her output from here as well as in OBS. I can turn her camera on and off. But the one I'm also interested here is this record local. So this is something that I have struggled long and hard to find a good solution for. So I was using Zencaster for a while. I'm currently using Restream to record my interviews with a combination of audio hijack, which is not quite right. I'm not getting the local audio from the guest. So I'm intrigued to see how this works. So let's see what happens. So I'd like to record her local. And let's see what happens. Okay. So this is giving me a... So I'm getting... So Kate, would you mind talking?
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. So I guess I'm getting your audio. I'll have a listen back later to see how it sounds. So let's stop that. Or we can record remote. I don't exactly know what the difference is. Oh, records their stream to their drive. So in this case, I'm guessing Kate is probably getting a notification right now about something being recorded.
Yeah, I've got a download. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, okay, so that's how it works. So you saw on my end when I did it locally, I got her feed. When I did it from her end, she gets the feed. And so she's getting her audio, which is also quite helpful.
That's helpful.
Now, is that just, that is audio and video, actually, I realized. That's not just audio, that's audio and video. We can actually have a quick look at that file. I can see it's WebM, which is a sort of web standard, but let's see what we can open it with. Yeah, there we go. So here is the recording of her, I guess. Yeah, just her. Here. Quality is... Yeah. There we go. And I heard... Sorry. I heard the audio as well. Okay, so that does work. The quality isn't great. I guess we can change that. I know what this button rainbow puke is. I don't know what that did.
What did you say?
There's a button here called, was it, force the remote sender to issue a keyframe to all scenes. Okay, all right, that's something else. I'm not sure. And then we have a bunch of other settings here. So... And then we have other things here. So I think you kind of get the rough idea. It's quite complex, but this is sort of OBS.ninja's strength and advantage in that you have a lot of settings. Inviting the guest, once I figured out the right link, it wasn't too hard. What did you have to do, Kate? When I sent you that link, like what did you need to do?
The link you sent me that worked. All I needed to do was put in the password.
Okay. So that wasn't really any different from doing Zoom or Google Meet or anything like that. It was pretty simple. But you didn't have to do browser permissions either, or did you?
No, I mean, I used Brave and I was assuming it wouldn't work. I'd have to use a different browser, but it did.
Interesting that you didn't have to accept permissions on the camera. That's odd. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why. That's strange, actually. Anyway, but it was relatively easy to work. And now I have this scene here. And just to give everybody an idea of what the other side looks like. So if I just copy link here, this is going to get a little messy. I'll open a private window. I might no, I'll join with the camera. This could get messy. I'm actually pleasantly surprised the stream held up the whole time. Last time I tried to do streaming whilst also using video elsewhere, everything went crazy. So there you go. I won't talk too much because we get a lot of echo, but here we can see me twice and Kate. So this is basically what Kate is seeing. Yeah. But I'm here as the one in the middle is me as a guest, and the one at the top is me as director. So I wonder what screen sharing looks like. I'll share a secondary stream. Let's get really messy. There we go. There's my screen share as well. And we could also share that into OBS as well. All right, I'm going to get out of this because the echo is doing my head in. Okay, so that's OBS.ninja. I think good for guests. The quality I'm still figuring out a bit here. I'm sure there's a lot I could do. That said, if you look at some of my podcasts that I've done on my YouTube channel or on christianchiller.com, the video quality of people joining through Restream is not necessarily any better. It's really down to their setup. I am seeing a surprising amount of like artifacts that you don't normally see. That could be because we're using who knows what. So if I, for example, stretched, so that's Kate at kind of full size, and it's not that brilliant, but it's okay. It's not great quality, but it's all right. We have a lot of these configuration options behind the scene. And yeah, once you've sort of figured out the settings you want, then you can have it all pre-configured and ready to go and invite all sorts of people. I'd be interested to know how it with multiple guests as well. And there's a whole bunch of common issues here you can work through to experiment with this as well. And by the way, my CPU is not going too crazy. I've got all this going on and my CPU is 24%. It's not too bad. We haven't dropped any frames. OBS is reporting 18%. It's not being too bad. What I'm still a little bit... I'll let Kate go now. Thanks very much, Kate. Say goodbye to everybody. How can everybody find you on the internet?
You can argue with me on Twitter if you like, which is Kate, which is CATE_Lawrence, LAWRENCE.
And thank you very much, Kate. Now let's see what happens when someone hangs up the call. Let's see what happens to the feed. So goodbye, Kate.
Here we go.
Oh, that happens. There we go. That was actually pretty graceful. So I'll move OBS over here now as well. So we'll focus here. So the only thing that does concern me a little with it is it's free, it's open source, but it's hosted somewhere. And this is something that always bothers me ever so slightly. And, you know, it's not free or cheap to run video. And at a certain point, will Steve, the creator of OBS, need to raise money somehow? And this has always been one of my main concerns with anything that's free is things cost and something has to make revenue somehow. And there's a donation model that could be enough, but doesn't generally scale massively. So So that's kind of one of the things that bothers me the most and always has done about OBS.ninja. I think we just figured out that the usability is pretty good. The quality is good once you configure it, but it's not self-hosted. I mean, maybe it could be. I guess it could be self-hosted. I don't see why not. But by default, it's not. And much like Jitsi Meet, that has to be paid for somehow. And how's that going to work? And I don't really know. I mean, there are options here around terms of service and privacy and things. But of course, there's always what is said and then, yeah, peer-to-peer. So it's right. So the connection is not storing anything. It's just connecting you, I guess. So that's interesting. Cloudflare is pretty much the only service that is seeing anything there. I mean, Cloudflare is reasonably well trusted, I think. So yeah, that's OBS.ninja. Forgive my blundering to begin with. I knew this would always be a bit of an interesting experiment, but it worked pretty well. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I'm going to continue using Restream for the time being because I'm paying for it. But for certain other use cases, I would probably try OBS.ninja. I may even try it with a writing group just out of interest. And then we can have the breakout rooms and things like that too. It'd be very interesting to see how it all hooks together. I know plenty of other broadcast professionals, which I don't necessarily consider myself as, but people who know what they're doing far better than me have been trialing it in replacement for Skype and NDI and finding it pretty good. So yeah, there's a lot of promise there, and I'd love to hear your comments in the videos wherever you watch this, and give me your feedback and your ideas and your experiments. So that was me. I was trying some new lighting, and I'm now looking, and I've still got a lot of shadow. You can see my face, but there's a lot of shadow elsewhere. Oh well. That was OBS.ninja, OBS.ninja by the hardworking Steve Seguin predominantly. Obviously, there are other, hopefully, community contributors as well. If you've enjoyed the stream, please follow, subscribe, share wherever you watched, or if you didn't watch, go to christianchiller.com for much more. And you can also find me on Twitter at chrischinch, should you so wish. And yeah, I will keep experimenting. It's something that I will definitely try to use, and I'm very interested to hear how others of you have used it. And please, if you have any questions, ask them in the comments, and I will endeavor to answer them. I don't know if I will know the answer, but we can always try. And until next time, then thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back next week, 16:30 Central European time. That's UTC +1 with another hands-on, where I will spend about 45 minutes seeing how I go with a piece of cool technology. See you next week. Thanks for joining me.